Hi guys, my name is V, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about fursuiting do's and don'ts. Now, this has been a topic that's been done a lot by other fursuiters, and I recognize that. So instead of regurgitating everything that they said, like, drink lots of water, always bring a handler, don't fursuit for 5 hours on end, I'm going to focus more on some other stuff that maybe was forgotten. And if you are interested in learning more about, the basics of fursuiting, definitely go check out those other videos. They're super good, super informative, super helpful. Go check them out now. But as for my video, let me just start off by saying I'm sorry. My head is not finished. I don't have paws. I'm missing teeth and markings, and I am also filming this from a webcam, which really sucks. So I recognize that the video quality is not good. I know that the vision lags, so I'm actually going to stop moving my head a whole lot and just kind of move my mouth a little bit. Maybe switch it up every now and again, but I'm really sorry about that. My mic is not that good either, but I really wanted to talk about this topic because it is something that actually really bothers me, that, people don't realize this, and I feel like it needs to be said. And if I continue doing these videos, I will definitely get a better camera and a better mic, but I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money for one video. So anyways, without further ado, fursuiting do's and don'ts. So a lot of people have talked about, what you should do if you see a fursuiter and you're a non-fursuiter, and how you should, approach them, and how you should interact with them, and how you need to respect them. So cover that, to sum that all up in one phrase is that fursuiting does not equal consent. So if you see someone in a fursuit, it doesn't give you a right to hug that person. They don't always want to be hugged. It might be like a personal reason, like maybe they don't like hugs. It might be because they're overheating and they don't want to take on your body heat. So, always ask for permission. But again, that has been said. What people don't really think about is it actually, it goes both ways. So, you as a viewer probably think, oh yes, this is obvious. Of course, you never have a right to touch someone. But it's not as obvious as you'd hope. I have seen videos and just people interacting in the world where fursuiters have gone up and randomly hugged someone without any kind of warning, which is not okay. Wearing a fursuit does not mean that you get to hug or high five or put your arm around or take pictures with anyone. And, it goes both ways. So, seeing someone in a fursuit doesn't give you a right to do that. Being in a fursuit doesn't give you a right to do that. So, fursuits do not equal consent. Always ask for things. The one that particularly bothered me was there is a video out there, and I'm not going to give you guys any kind of direction to it, because I really don't want to, call anyone out. I don't want that person to receive a lot of hate for it. I'm hoping that they learn from rewatching that video, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But anyways, there's a video out there where there's a fursuiter who decided to go into a store and interact with customers, and it's fun, it's fine. They go in, and he's being all silly, and he's playing with the customers, and there's a couple kids, he's playing with the kids, and everything's fine, nothing wrong with that. And people are taking pictures, people are having a good time, and then he goes out to the cash to buy something. Again, you're in a store, it's totally okay to buy stuff in a fursuit. And the cashier had no problem, putting him through or anything, which was great. It was awesome. But after, when the handler had paid for everything, the fursuiter starts going like this, and he's reaching out for the cashier. And the cashier is kind of backing up, and he's like, no. He doesn't shake his head, but it's very clear from his body language and his expression that he does not want to interact with the fursuiter. He does not want a hug from this guy. And people have their own reasons. Like, it doesn't matter what their reason is. It could be because they think you smell, and that's totally fine. It could be because they don't like hugs. Believe it or not, there are people who don't like hugs. It could be because they don't like fursuits. Again, not everybody likes furries. It's a concept that, you know, we talk about a lot, but I don't think people really think about it too much. Like, not everyone's gonna love you because you're cute and fluffy, unfortunately. So, yeah. And, unfortunately, the video does end with the guy hugging the cashier, which I wish it didn't, but it did, and that was the end of the video. But, fortunately for the fursuiter, the only consequence of that was the cashier having a negative experience with furries, which is not obviously a good thing, but it could be a lot worse. If you approach someone who's very clearly like, I don't want to hug you, like, and they're backing up, or they're shaking their head, or they're doing the note face, doesn't matter what it is, even if you just run up to someone and try to hug them, they might hurt you. They might push you away. They might punch you in the face. They might kick you. And, like, I'm not saying they have a right to, but if you catch someone off guard, their first instinct is going to be to punch the giant blue fox in the face. So, don't surprise people. And, you know, some people are a little mean about it, and if they're saying they don't want to hug you, they're going to actually push you away. So I respect that, because not only does it's a negative experience for both the non-fursuiter and the fursuiter, and you don't want to have negative experiences with your suit. It could damage your suit, so if someone punches you like right in the muzzle, could twist it, could break on the foam on the inside. You could hurt yourself, obviously. If they push you and you trip backwards and you fall on your butt, you could break, like, your coccyx bone or something. It could, again, this is foam, so it's pretty good, but could still bruise your face. And obviously no one really wants to hit someone, so don't make them feel like they have to. Oh, hello. It's my kitty cat. This is Beans. Oh, she's gone. Okay. So, don't give them that negative experience. And, you know, and now your video is also ruined because halfway through you get punched in the face. So you either have to cut that out or not post the video. But that's an important one. You always have to respect people's space. Even if you're not in Fursuit. I remember one time, I also LARP, and I went to an event and there was a new person there. And all in character, I was really, like, kind of mean to her. And I felt really bad after, because I was like, oh my god, this is a new person. She doesn't understand, maybe she doesn't understand that's all in character. And I went up to her, and, you know, like, after, like, the game was all done, and I hugged her, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so mean. And she just was, like, mortified. And I was like, oh, oh, that was, okay. Alright, I can tell you don't like hugging now, I just feel even worse. So, yeah, just don't, even if you think it's, like, your acquaintances now, don't hug someone without saying something about it. It's not always okay. So, respect the people around you. Secondly, respect the place you're in. Never just show up to a store or a hospital or anything owned by somebody else and in your fursuit and expect them to be okay with you going in. Always, 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 even if it's just a little store, call ahead. If it's a store, it can be like 5 minutes and be like, hey, can I show up like this? Some places are not okay with you showing up in a giant animal costume, and that shouldn't be taken as a personal offense. They cannot see who you are under this mask, and if you take something or whatever, they're liable for that. They cannot identify you because you are wearing this mask. So they might not want you in their store. They also might not want you scaring their customers. Or if it's a place like PetSmart where they allow animals in. They don't want the dogs attacking you because you're wearing a giant costume, and some dogs will attack mascots. It's a thing. So, and then, your fursuit's gonna get destroyed, and the customers are gonna be unhappy, and the dogs are gonna be unhappy, and it's not gonna be a good experience for anyone. So always call ahead, especially if it's like a hospital or a retirement home or a school, especially if it's a school, especially if it's anything involving children, because some people might not be okay with it, because you are an adult and you are playing around with these children and stuff, so they might not want to be liable for that. And if they say no, then don't go on YouTube and be like, oh, this place did not let me in, they denied me access. Like, it's okay, not everybody is going to be okay with it, and you shouldn't take personal offense to it. So, always call ahead. If you do go to a place that you've called ahead and you're like, okay, obviously don't scare anyone. Kind of talked about that in the last bit. Be respectful of the store stuff. Don't, like, if it is a store, don't go and play with all the toys on the floor and knock products off the shelf because you think it's funny. You need to be respectful. If it's like a place like a retirement home or a school, still be respectful. Don't break things or tip chairs over because you think it's funny. It's disrespectful and you're giving us a bad rep. So, yeah. And if you go somewhere public, like say you went onto a university campus or a park or somewhere nice like that, you gotta be respectful of the events that are going on. So if you go to a university campus and somebody's taking wedding photos, don't show up in the background of their photos. You might be like, oh, I'm a furry, I'm so cute and funny, and you guys are gonna laugh after when you see your pictures and there's this giant blue fox in the background. By the way, I don't have anything against blue foxes, it's just my common example. So yeah, like, don't show up, let them invite you to it. If it's like a children's birthday party that's happening in the park, you are allowed to be in the park because, it's a public place, but at the same time, don't go up and start playing with the kids. Or don't go photobomb their pictures, even though it's a public place. They might not want you there, so, get your handler to go up and talk to the parents and say, hey, do you want us to join, or do you want to take pictures with us or something? Because it can be a really positive experience, it's a kid's birthday, they're super happy, and then all of a sudden this giant blue fox shows up. And they're like, oh my god, it's awesome, I get to play with this giant blue fox. And it can be super fun. So, yeah, just make sure you ask. Consent is super important in any scenario. Doesn't matter what it is. Don't just assume things are okay. So, respect the people, respect the place, and obviously, respect yourself and don't do anything super dangerous in a suit. You may think it's funny, or it may make a good YouTube video, but it's not if it's going to break your collarbone or your suit. So, and then another thing in regards to that is, I know I already said it, I know I said it was more of an obvious one, but always bring a handler with you. You need to have someone who's not in suit and who is hopefully got, a very authoritative look to them, because they need to be able to break up situations. If you have a scrawny little boy as your handler, and they're wearing big fluffy ears on their head, and a big fluffy husky tail, people might not take them seriously if they tell them to stop something. Alright? There are some pretty cruel people out there, and hopefully you never have to deal with them, but you need someone who, I'm not saying they have to be big and strong, but, they need to have some authority to them that is going to make people say, oh, okay, I won't do that. Right? People can get malicious. It happens. Another important thing with having handler, I know some fursuiters have said, like, going to a con space alone is fine, but I wouldn't even risk that. You need to have a handler who knows you specifically. So even though at a con there are people who are not in suit, and there are people who recognize signs of heat stroke, and they know to do all these things, and they know that if they see someone pulling your tail to say don't do that, then that's good, but you still need someone who knows you, because if you say have asthma and you start having an asthma attack in your suit, not everybody is trained to be able to recognize that. Hopefully if you are alone, somebody will recognize that, but not everybody can. And they might think it's part of your routine. Like if you're going like this and you're trying to get your head off or something, or whatever you're trying to do, they might be like, haha, look at the funny fursuiter. Like they don't know that there is a problem underneath the suit. So you need to have someone who does know these things so that they can recognize them. And they would have like your inhaler or something. Or, if you have an allergy and somebody has cookies or something and they're like giving them to the fursuiters and they're like, oh my god, look at the cute fursuiter, they're gonna eat the cookie and it's gonna be so cute. And you, being in character, are, fooling around, having fun, and don't even really think about it. You put the cookie in your mouth and you're like, num 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 num. It might have peanuts in it or something, and you're gonna have an allergic reaction, and again, nobody's gonna realize what's going on. If you have a handler, then they can see that cookie and they can be like, whoa, hold up, what's in that cookie? And, it diffuses the situation right away. So you need to have someone who knows you really well. And even if, it doesn't always have to be like a physical problem, like asthma or allergies. It might be like an emotional thing. Like if you, or like a mental thing. So like if you have epilepsy or something, they can recognize seizures. Seizures aren't always somebody collapsing on the ground and convulsing. Sometimes it's as simple as just standing still and going like this. And somebody won't recognize that as a seizure unless they know you and they know that's what your seizures are like. And it could be like an emotional thing too. So if you are claustrophobic and all of a sudden all these people are piling onto you and you feel like you can't breathe and you feel like you can't talk, you can't say stop because you're so claustrophobic, a handler knows you are and they can be like, guys, you can't pile on this fursuiter, like stop. So definitely bring someone who knows you really well, and if they don't know you really well, make sure you tell them all these things. Like say, I have an allergy, I have asthma, I have epilepsy, I have claustrophobia, or something like that. It could be simple as like, I have a fear of spiders, and like a legit fear of spiders, because you never know what's going to happen. Someone could start dangling a spider in your face, and because you can't see it very well, you start freaking out. You need to have someone who's going to know how you react to situations, because some random fursuiter or some random person in a furry con is not going to know these things. So, another thing is, even if you don't have, or if you feel like you don't have any problems, you don't have any physical problems, or emotional problems, or mental problems, or anything, you still need a handler. Because especially if you are going out in public alone, it's very dangerous. You have already probably been told by other fursuiters that you cannot see past here, and you have a big blind spot here. But what they don't say is that it gets so much worse at night. If you are trying to wear your fursuit at night, like say you accidentally stayed out late and, you meant to be home at a certain time, but you're just having so much fun and now the kids are gone and you're all alone in the park, then you have to find your way home, and if you don't want to break character, your vision is 10 times worse. There is no such thing as night vision in fursuits. It's essentially like wearing sunglasses, because these are graded and there's black on the other side. So, not a lot of light gets through as is. And it's a lot like dimmer, so it's a lot like wearing sunglasses. Except for they won't protect your eyes, so don't stare at the sun. That's just what it looks like. And then if you wear sunglasses at night, it's really hard to see anything at all. You may not realize things are approaching you because, again, you have these huge blind spots. So you might be trying to cross the street and you look this way and you look that way and you're like, oh, it's fine. But your blind spot was blocking a bike that was going to pass, and you step out of the street and you hit that bike. So always have someone who is looking out for you. You cannot go out alone. And you cannot go out with just other fursuiters because they can't see either. And they can't intervene, and it's just not a good idea. Bring someone who's not in suit, preferably someone who has a bit of authority to them. If you're a young fursuiter and, you know, your parents are cool with fursuiting, it's good to bring, like, your dad along, or your older sister, or your older brother, sometimes even your younger sister, depending on how old you are. It's good, like, bring a family member, because they will definitely look out for you, and they will make sure you're okay, and they are very concerned for your health, and they obviously know any problems that you might have, so don't go it alone. Just don't do it. Another thing that I want to talk about is, like, dealing with kids in a fursuit. So, obviously, kids can be one of the biggest issues when it comes to dealing with respecting someone in a fursuit. They don't know how to react, and they don't know what things that they can't do. They don't understand. When you are dealing with adults, or just even older children, they know that you are not real. They know that you are a mascot, or in a mascot head. They may not know that you're furry, because maybe they're not familiar with that term, but they understand that this is a costume. And younger kids do not. It's part of the magic, as people call it. And that magic can also be really scary. So, if you're a little kid, and you're terrified of fursuits, and this giant blue fox is coming at you, and it's got the big stompy feet, and it's going like this, and it's like, give me a hug, and you're like, oh no, it's very scary. So, if you're in a fursuit, definitely understand that kids can be scared of you. And if a kid is scared with you, don't try to be silly and stuff, because that could just make you look scarier. Instead, you know, get down low, and a very common technique that a lot of other fursuiters talk about is just act scared of the kid as well. Especially if the kid is being forced by their parent to interact with you. Some parents are like, here, take a picture, and the kid's like, no, I don't want to take a picture, and if they're being forced by their parents, maybe discuss with your handler ahead of time how to handle the situation, and have them pretend to force you to take the picture of the kid as well. And you also are scared of the kid, so you're like, no, I don't want to, no. Because then, now you're relating with the kid. You guys are both being forced into the situation. It's going to be funny for the parent as well. It's fun to act out, and the kid's going to relate with you, and they're going to be like, oh, they're also scared. Maybe I should make them not scared of me. And they will not really focus on their fear, and they will, you know, show them that you're okay as well. That they're okay as well. And it turns it into a nice, positive experience. At the same time, if the same situation is happening, and the kid really doesn't want to interact with you, they're absolutely terrified, they're on the verge of tears, being shy and timid didn't work, then don't try to force them to like you ever. If you've done all of the routine and it's still not working out, then just back away from the situation. If there's another kid around, and preferably nearby, go interact with that kid. And, if that kid likes you anyways. And go play with them. And then the terrified kid may or may not decide that, hey, that looks kind of fun, I want to try it too, and go join you guys. But at the same time, if they're still terrified, now they have an out, they can leave, they don't have to interact with you. Another thing is kids can be pretty disrespectful of fursuits for the same reason. They don't realize that you're not really alive. Or, I mean, you are alive, but your fursuit's not real, right? So they think that they can pet you like their dog and just go like this. Except for with their nails, which is not good. If you're in a situation like this where you think a kid is going to scratch you roughly and pull your fur out, which will not grow back because you're not a real animal, show them how to pet you. Kids obviously, especially little kids, want to pet the big fluffy blue fox. And my favorite way to do it is to pretend that I'm like licking my hand or my paw and then go like this. So that, you know, it looks like I'm just cleaning myself as a cat would, but they realize that it's going in this direction, right? Most kids will get it after that, and they'll go like this, and they'll be like, oh, it's so soft, it's so fluffy, I love it so much. But some kids still don't, and then if they proceed to keep trying to scratch you, then it's time for your handler to say something. And as a handler, you should never just say, don't do that, you're going to wreck the costume. Because that's breaking the magic for the children. They want to think that you're real. They want to believe that you are this magical creature. Instead, act like they are this magical creature. And say, if you do that, you're going to hurt them. And most little kids don't want to hurt you. And then the handler can say, pet her like this. And then the kid will pet you like this. Or if it's your tail, you can say, don't pull the tail, you're going to hurt Mr. Fox, you know? Don't say that there's a person under there who spent hours making this costume or thousands of dollars paying for someone to make this costume and that you're ruining it. If you do all of these previous things, if you as a fursuiter show them how to do it, if you as a fursuiter, or as a handler, sorry, also show them how to do it and tell them that they are hurting V or whatever your character's name is, and they still don't get it, then it's finally time to say, okay kid, you can't do it. Like, then you have to be a little bit more serious about it. And if you have to, if you have to say that they're gonna rip the tail out, then you have to say that. It's not worth losing your fursuit over it. Try all the other things first, and if they still don't get it, then it's finally time to say no. If you have a kid who is super persistent and your handler is not getting the message, then as a fursuiter, you need to act angry, you need to act upset, you need to cross your arms, you need to say no, you need to shake your head. Because if they think that you're not having fun, then they'll probably stop doing it. But if you act silly and, are just trying to run away or something like that, they're gonna think you want to play tag, and they're gonna chase you, and it's not gonna end the situation, so, yeah. And again, if it still persists and they still don't get the message, then you have to break the magic, you have to say something. It's not worth getting yourself hurt over it, it's not worth, losing your fursuit over it. You'll just have to say something. Like, if you have a bunch of kids who are dogpiling on top of you, and they are sitting on your lungs, and you cannot breathe, and your handler is just like, oh, look at them, they're having fun, everyone's having so much fun, and the parent's like, oh, everyone's having so much fun, but you're not having fun, and you can't breathe, then it's time to say something. It's time to say, help, I can't breathe. And having your character talk and having the kids hear this giant blue fox talk is a lot less scarring than seeing this person pass out, than seeing you drop down and be like, ugh, on the ground. So, unfortunately, sometimes it has to be done. Hopefully, some of the other stuff I mentioned works first. Overall, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, I'm super sorry about the quality of the video. and how my suit is not finished. Hopefully by the next video, if I do one, it's gonna be a lot better. So we can cross our fingers. Please feel free to email me any questions. I will answer them at the end of the next video. Or if it's a personal question, I will send you an email back. My email is rishanawolf@gmail.com. There is an E at the end of the wolf. I will put it in the description below. Yeah, so I will see you guys next time.